Well, holy shit. My last video on this channel was called Deadpool and Wolverine Needs to Matter. This is before I'd seen it, before I saw anyone talk about it, and what a shocker when the movie is, in fact, entirely about Deadpool and Wolverine mattering or not. But you know, being Deadpool and being meta, mattering is not relegated to simply the narrative theme, but is able to touch on many things and whether or not they matter. I'm excited to talk about this movie, so I want to jump right into everything. Spoilers, come on, spoilers coming, and for real, it will make the movie worse if you spoil it for yourself. That's like 100% of this movie's charm is the roller coaster ride it takes you on and what it shows you. All right. In my last video, I was wondering how Deadpool 3 would actually bridge the gap between Fox and the MCU, especially when Deadpool seems to care so little about the greater scheme of everything. The answers I got were unfortunately ambiguous and potentially inconsequential. That was disappointing to me. Deadpool claiming to be Marvel Jesus throughout the movie, again, works so much to the benefit of that overzealousness and ego of Deadpool, but not really to the benefit of the MCU and its trajectory up to this point and where it's going in the future. But here's what I learned. I'll cut to the chase. Deadpool and Wolverine is a fantastic, hilarious Deadpool movie. And it turns out the transfer from Deadpool from Fox to Disney works really well, almost not at all in the slightest for the MCU, but benefits and works tenfold for Deadpool. Having access to this much related lore and canon, trying to avoid the word IP here, I don't really like it, allows for the most comically respectful and accurate Deadpool I could have ever imagined. And respect is something I want to talk about here, because I bet some people would think saying this movie is respectful is stupid, and what do I even mean? And I guess what I mean is in regards to cameos. Let's talk Cameos, baby. I'm not a Marvel shill, and I don't plan on making videos like this all the time. In fact, I'd rather be talking about Exuma or Dreamcatcher right now, so I'm gonna indulge in whatever fanboy shit I want to for this video. The MCU and cameos have not worked for me since the OG movies. I can't name a single cameo past those core end credit scenes teasing like Thor or Planet Hulk, but in Deadpool 3, the cameos are able to be much more than just fan service because they aren't inbred, if that makes sense. They aren't made for the sole purpose of inflating the franchise's own ego. The sheer number of truly inspired cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine turns the wasteland of the void not into a bland typical Marvel setting, though it could be, but more like an island of misfit toys. All the Fox superheroes that everyone has forgotten or doesn't like anymore have ended up in the void, and that's where we meet them. But I don't know, man, for a very specific age of nerd, those movies were really special and important to us, at least to me. Seeing Ray Park back as Toad, having Sabretooth from X-Men 1, Elektra, Blade, Gambit. Jesus, Gambit was a stroke of genius. Speaking of Gambit and strokes of genius, the comedy in this landed so well for me, but I know it's not for everybody. The benefit of being in the MCU now, though, opens the door for so many creative jokes that feel both necessary and clever. All these cameos and references in this just keep justifying their existence through one way or another. I couldn't be cynical at all while I was really in the middle of it. By the way, the only film issue in this for me was the big bad main villains. One played by Matthew McFadden, the other is, I forget her name, but it's Cassandra Nova, Charles Xavier's evil twin. I didn't even mind the plot or story. The end goal of Deadpool and Wolverine is to prove they matter by restoring or fixing the timeline or something, and basically joining with the MCU. It didn't ultimately matter to me that much, but it's just a railroad track for these two characters to zoom down at lightning speed, cutting each other to shreds inside and out. I think this is leagues better than Deadpool 1 and 2, and I think while it may not ultimately matter to the MCU at large like people were hoping or expecting, I think it matters a great deal as a Deadpool movie and as a Wolverine movie and to me. Last thing, I just wanted to note a couple of my favorite scenes in the movie. The opening fight scene involving desecrating Logan's grave and using the adamantium skeleton to absolutely brutalize a gang of TVA agents, incredible. Seeing the Deadpool core on screen, incredible. Nice Pool and Dogpool, incredible. Johnny Storm, that did get me. I don't know how it got me, but it got me. I was totally blindsided. I thought it was pretty brilliant and cracked me up. I'm gonna be watching this a lot, I think. This movie has more jokes that actually landed for me packed in it than Deadpool 1 and 2 combined. It felt like that to me, at least. See Deadpool and Wolverine if you haven't, obviously. Editing Jason back here, a postscript, because while editing, Robert Downey Jr. came out at Comic-Con to announce, along with the Russo brothers, that he would play Dr. Doom in Avengers Doomsday, the renamed film that once upon a time was Kang Dynasty. If I heard this news before Deadpool and Wolverine, I would be skeptical and a little underwhelmed and confused, but worst case, I really just wouldn't care. But after coming out of the theater, with the amount of fun I had, I am more interested now. I am wearing a little bit more rose-colored of glasses than I was before. But that was a Deadpool movie, again, not Avengers 5. But the way this movie plays out, if the MCU actually does take a lesson from Deadpool now that he's in their universe and can have an influence, I started fantasizing about some alternate timeline where Tony Stark is Doom and the audience would understand that. There's no way the stunt casting is for no other reason but to bait older fans back in, and they cover him in makeup and a mask. He'll be wearing a mask, obviously, but you know what I mean. I just think that's almost too skeptical to think. They know who RDJ is to Marvel, and I firmly am confident that they will be bringing RDJ for the role of Doom for a purposefully meta villain arc. I believe Tony Stark will be Doom. That's my bet. I don't know. It won't be from this universe, whatever. What did you guys think? Did you like this movie as much as me? Let me know later.